I put a link to these scripts I wrote. Now, what I try to do here is give a real dollar amount of the risk. I probably have about 20 here. And the first, so right below this DAX, I'm not including that DAX. That's a really wide, it's like a Bitcoin script where you have to have like 3 zeros on these numbers inside that code. So here I'm just sticking to Forex. And we've got the time. I think the most critical thing is, what is your exposure today? Is it going to be a half hour every 2 hours? If all you did was drop limits that lasted, let's just pick a for instance here. I just started buying in this window, right? That's Asia. And I always buy the invasion of that price on limits, because there could be, there you go. We just auctioned into this low. So we just fell through the floor in Asia, and that trade's over. The sellers come in. I got more limits sitting below. How long do they last? That's a 1 hour chart. So if we're counting the market now, right now, as it's trading, and we're just trading for a range, we're not trading for a direction necessarily, but I guess we could make assumptions about the direction. But it's not going to matter because we're making money. That is a 10 pip grid. These tickets here last for 12 hours. They cover a 10 pip grid with 6K. Every other pip. You are buying and selling every other pip. If I put this order above, which I can't do now because this is in, so if I put it on this top, if I put sells up here, it's just very simple. You just have to keep putting the orders in. You have sells up here because you know this is the supply zone or demand zone. But you would have had orders in this one, right? This is the vacuum. Your sell limits are in a pocket up here. Now, not everyone's a winner. The next, so the designation is time exposure. How long are you going to be in that trade? So if these are going to be 12 bars, if you're going to simulate your trading, if in Asia I drop this, this is 12 bars in the future, that order lasts for 12 vertical bars. If I don't get filled, it disappears. Now, since the market's going to, if I'm going to sit here and this is going to be 4 bars, this is, you're timing the market, you have an auction that lasts a certain amount of time. 4 bars is 4 hours. This is Asia. If I drop it here, it's already, it's not even a trade anymore. It's gone, right? But what if I could see this vacuum forming in our shelf or support area? We still haven't touched that Asia thing, but what if I could see, you know what? This is the longest lasting, deepest shelf I can see. If I look back, and when this slammed down, don't forget the market order guys are buying that slam down. I'm talking about winning traders. You got to buy into that plunge. I know people don't want to do that, but I mean, this is the add-on to the account. Trading at the market is something that really, if you have the ticket in your hand, if you have your gun ready, so people talk about, oh, guns, guns, guns. Dude, is it in a safe? Do you have a loaded gun? 2 of them. Are you like in a movie? So yeah, if you want to make that kind of money now, I've taken that account up to almost, so I'm up to $109,000 from $5,000 on the demo because I got in like that on the pound. One day, I bought like 6 standard lots or 60 standard lots here. Something crazy. It went up, got out. Now, I don't have to ride this whole drama here. And I know people are going to say, I got a moving average trend line, I'm just buying here. See, I got you, but I'm not, I'm thinking, why would I want to ride this bullshit? This so-called trend and claim, well, I'm trend trading in my, I know your system did that, but seriously, how much money are you making? You mean you got in here in Asia? You're a genius. You sat in that thing till it came all the way back. You left 60. You left 30 pips on the table. You were up 30 pips and you didn't get out. And these markets are so vicious that I don't even know how people are doing that. Claiming this, that. Okay, so look, we're finally coming after. So we just took out Asia. You see that? Were you going to buy this pocket, this support? You see, you have to buy that. You're already out of that trade. The scalpers are already gone from that trade, right? Because if they think that that is the support, well, when it gets taken out and it comes back, that's the scalper's window. 20 pips almost guaranteed down here. Why? Because this low here. So I'm just taking about, look back to these lows, these down bars. I don't know how to describe it. I guess I never, this auction theory, this, now you're selling into the top of that, right? You just got out. Now you're selling into this. Now I know it's very hard. People don't want to sell into that. It's the end of the day, people. That's a great sell. Yeah, it could keep going up. But it could come back to the starting gate. It could come back to the breakout. Don't forget the breakout traders have to wait for confirmation to get in down here now. Everybody's going to have a piece of this thing. Everybody gets a piece of Corona, whether you're making money from the new handy wipes or the new toilet paper that can't be resold at a higher price. So here's the scalp. This has to pull back and take out this. Otherwise, yeah, you're going to get crushed on this rack of tickets. You are. You are so going to get crushed. Yes, you're going to lose, okay? Another big thing people don't talk about is, yeah, you're going to lose. Now, here coming in Asia, you're trapped at the top. It looks like it go higher. Here's where I would say we can't see to the left. We know that this could pop up and go right to here, to the round. We know that. Then there it goes. You didn't look back and see this vacuum, and we can only go back so far on here, right? If you don't notice this, this is why, but see, you just cleaned up on that. You were just about to get out. Did you see how that ripped back? You were just about to get out. See how that ripped back? Now I'm selling like you can't believe. Sell at the market. I've got limits up there already. Just scalped out. 20 pips clean off of the racks that are in there, limits, and I sold the market. Not a lot, because look how they just went higher. They just filled more of my sell limits. Don't you have to touch them. So do these last for 12 hours? They last for a day. They last for 2 hours. If you're babysitting the market and you see this void forming, you look back and you go, oh my God. When it comes up here, there's going to be a 30 pip fight. I just cashed out. Now I'm selling more. Right? Now, my sell at the markets, did I get out of those? Well, if I'm going to make money on these pullbacks, I'm not going to sell a lot at the market. That's why I think trading at the market's stupid unless you see this big giant move up. And you're like, okay, now you're going to fill the limits. If you look left, why is it ripping so hard? Why? Because there's these little wick tips up here. Everybody's selling on these. Like, they're just like, dude, we just sold so much. And they just cashed out. Breakout, 20 pip window, come back, they're out. Here comes the big boys. They're going to sell all the way. And when they get to the very tippy top here, they're going to sell more than you could even think of selling. And most people are going to be so bullish by the time we're up here. This is why this whole, all this bullshit people talk about, well, you know, they're trapping you up there. Yeah, they're tricking you because you're algo just when you think you're going to make some money. But this is the same, dude, I'm somewhere in time. I'm on a 1 hour chart on the euro dollar in 2018. You think these markets ever change the way they behave? You think it ever changes? Selling on limits. Just let it rip. It's going to be okay. selling more. Oh, I just sold a boatload. Now, when we hit this, oh, more, sell more, sell more. Oh, yeah. Somebody just made 40 pips, 30 pips. Somebody just made 40 pips. Oh, now this is where I put more sell limits and above now. Right? Now you really sell into that. Scalpers are going to take it back to this top. They're out. Beautiful trade. Now, there are people holding that for the big crush down. Because now that they've trapped all these goobers up here, all the bullish, and that very top tick. So this is the same trade I just did in the euro and the British pound this week. It came up there. I'm like, oh yeah. And then here's Friday in the British pound. So here's how I traded it. You could trade any market like this. They make new highs. They rip it back, and you're like, oh yeah, they're going to take it up. And you sell into that, right? Sell, sell, sell. Sell at the market. Sell at the end of the day. I don't know if that's the end of the week there. So you're short into that, you know? I mean, the only way to get on the long train is to buy the pullbacks at the market, right? But I'm talking about limits that are sitting in front of you, and it's just selling into it. So now that it's cashing out, and there's a frantic debate up here, look at this. Now you must know that this above this round number, that must go way back to the beginning. That could be like a yearly price, who knows. People that can afford to sell into this broad of an area, they just made almost 100 pips off the top of that. Now they're selling more, right? 100 pips. Look at that. In 1 hour, this thing goes up. Right? In 2 hours, we go up almost 200 pips. If you could afford, and I know it's psychologically difficult to lay these orders in and wait for that pullback, but you got to wait for this. Come back, and look how it overshoots, pull back to the breakouts. Not only does it come back to the breakout point, it overshoots and engulfs a little bit. Holy shit. Then I got buys down here. So this is the 1 hour chart, by the way. British pound. This is the British pound. That's why this is moving so hard. And that's why when you trade the British pound, it gets very intense. You can't trade this. People are saying, why am I getting killed on the British pound? Because I have the spread set here at 3. You can almost see the spread here. And the spread is wide at times, and twice the spread of the euro. It moves twice as hard as it. So I'm used to doing the euro, but the pound is making more money, and I can put in these 10 pip windows. So I could have sold 10 pip window right now. Granted, on these entries, I'm going to need to use a stop that is acceptable, and that has to be 37 pip stop, 37 pip stops, all right? If I was to stack up orders here, people talk about, well, what stop are you going to use? Is it based on the 1 hour chart? It's all based on structure because I'm an auction trader. So if I buy this vacuum, this so-called stop hunt, I know right there I got a 20 pip stop I got to run. If I gobble up that raid on the other session, now here, look at this thing collapse back. I just got to ask you, anybody that's watched these last 3 days with me going up on the 1 hour chart, mind you, don't need the 15, stop ICT with the 15. That's the thing that just cracked me up. Candlestick 15-minute chart. You haven't figured out what's going on here yet? It's price over time. I know the candlestick charts, and I don't like them. They're too complicated. I can't see the structure. On a line chart, can you not see a top become a bottom on here? Like, why would you hurt yourself? Look at this. Now, the big boys, like I said, the big boys sold up here all the way into that. How are they doing? And if you're going to trade the British pound, can you make, look at this, in one day we dropped 200 pips from Asia to US. Are you buying this at the end of the day? Yes. Of course. Did you buy all the way down? No, if your script lasts all day long and you put buy limits down there and you're like, bought that whole thing. Look at them cashing out on my scalps, embedded in there. Yes, you are going to get stopped out if you can't perceive this hole. If you can't even perceive this being a little bit of a steep rally, just in momentum terms, you shouldn't be trading. Come on. You got to use a little bit of, you got to ask yourself, when you see these kind of swings, like, wow, that's really bullish. Huh, really? So this is how my system runs on limits. You got limits in here. Those are your biggest tickets. Now you're making money. It's coming back up again. Well, shit. Oh, God, they just filled my other limits. Look at that. Now, if these limits lasted all day, look at that. Does it get any better than that? I don't think so. Look at that. Now you're going to have to change your targets here. This is $24 to make 48 bucks. Going back to the trade plans, they're time-based. It's very simple. This is 12. This is the 1 hour chart. That's 12 bars. Can you trade the British pound and make money? Yes, tons. Every day, all day. How? Look at the chart. The 1 hour chart. Would you buy below that wick? In my system, I don't even ask that question. I put the orders in here. Got buy limits. Next question. Will they fill them? I don't know. How much do I put in there? Well, it depends. Probably 300K. Every time I drop it, 6K. So, if I drop this 100 times, I got no problem doing that. That's not a lot of effort for me. It's not like digging up the yard with a spoon. Am I going to put more tickets down here? So it's all about laying the trap. I'm just laying a trap for people. Sorry, goobers. I'll be buying more down here. As everybody shits their pants, and all the bulls are like, well, look at how we're all the way back to the starting gate. Isn't that just fantastic? That talk about mask shaming. So I was on the Facebook, and what is with these fucking people? If you don't wear a mask, dude, you got to stay home. I'm going to tell you right now. If you think the leverage is too high at your broker, close your account. This guy did this posting. I couldn't believe it. Talking about, if you trade this broker, like, what is he talking about? Why I trade indices instead of the Forex. I don't know if you've seen this goober. Like, they just filled me on limits. And I bought more here than anybody ever bought. See how that works? I bought more down there than anybody ever thought about buying. Why? New lows. Could I lose money on that? Yeah. Can I get stopped out of that trade? Yeah. I just bought more. The lower it goes, the more I buy. I'm catching a falling knife. Look at that. Look at the guy that sold up here. What are you saying to this guy now? I can't believe you sold into that. Look, I just took out the lows. Look at that. We're buying into this. Look at this. British pound. 200 pips a day. I can't believe I'm losing money buying lows on the pound. Yeah, dude, this can move 300. Look at 300 pips. What is this, Brexit? Look at. Are you up for that? I'm sure that if you look left, there's a reason for that. Don't forget, anything below this, British pound. Come on, man. 3 times the volatility all day long, every day of your life compared to the euro. Why do you run ATR 14s over no nonsense? Just go trade this and see how much it costs you. How many pips can this move? Gee, where was the trade there? This is a 1 hour chart. Now the breakout systems. Are you looking at the breakout traders for your queue? Are you going to jump on the train? Are you going to trade the 1 hour chart every hour? Are you going to pull the trigger every hour based on something you see, a pattern? I would say in the British pound, you're going to need a 30, 40, 50, 20 pip stop. My stops here are 17 to make 23 pips, which is $12 to make $12, assuming a 3 pip spread. Why? 6K. 3 pips, 30 cents per 6K, $1.80. I just rounded up $2. I'm adding $2 to the cost of trading. Built it in on the stops. So instead of a 20 pip stop, put a 17 pip stop, end up with $12 of risk to make $12. These are limits only. This is market maker or supply and demand trading. If you're going to expose yourself to 4 hours of risk, so all the orders that you put in that last for 12 hours are getting filled probably right now on the downside here. If you did not take your 100 pips off the table when we came below here, we took out Asia low, so I buy the takeout of Asia low, 100 pips. If you structurally couldn't perceive this low on this white line becoming a top in time perfectly on the 1 hour chart, there's a reason for that psychologically. Anybody that buys this thinking it's going to go up and they're buying that bottom, when they realize they're wrong, and even the robots would have realized they're wrong, they're going to dump. That is a breakout confirmation. Breakout, come back, down. Doesn't mean that somebody did not scalp the high probability return to the floor before it tanked. Obviously, in that one moment, that trade plan works perfectly. Does it mean that's going to engulf after that? Not necessarily. In fact, you should be out of that portion of that because that setup exists there. It's like a trap setup. You could also say, oh, that's a setup for me to sell. Great. But there is somebody on the other side of that making money doing the counter, because that's what fuels the other side of the trade, right? If everybody's on the same side. So I think you can imagine I just made 100 pips here. If I bought down here with a 100 pip target, in 1 hour I made 100 pips. The first bounce I made 50 and I got filled on deeper limits. So this is limit trading. Can you on top of the market trade the market too? Yeah, but you'd have to be there. This you kind of have to come back and rinse and repeat. So they're just crushing more of my limits. I'm just getting filled. I'm looking at my phone at this point and going, well, cashed out of that, cashed out of that, cashed out of that. In other words, if all you did, so I know some people that are not going to be able to babysit the market. So you're going to have to do this stuff. And I know it's going to be, I would take a look at the weekly charts before you attempt this stunt. But we can all see it's making money here, even because we are just range trading it. I know it's going down, but we're making money. We just bought this. Did we not? On my system, I buy new lows, right? I buy the new lows of the previous day. Well, you say, yeah, I did that here, but I got killed. Yes, I know, because I said, look left, but the momentum's obviously dying out. And even if you did buy that, if your orders only lasted 12 hours, you gave yourself a limit that you would only expose yourself to the Asian So I'm jumping around because I'm just assuming some people already know how to trade. So this being a critical price, you know. But how long does the ticket last? So if the ticket lasts this much time, isn't that going to be something that's important? Isn't that going to have something to do with something? For God's sakes, in a world where people are basically got their head up their ass with all this I'm going to die from corona stuff, and they think it's driving the stock market's moves and everything. It's so cute. When you fall, if this order lasts for 12 hours, then when you drop it here, it doesn't even fill on that crush, right? If you keep on moving your buy limits, so here you would, okay, so now we've got buy limits that last for all day long, but now we know they have to go 200 pips deep because they're all day long. And you just got filled on all these tickets. Now I'd say you have to look left because if you're falling into 3-year lows and stuff, you know that you've got to trade 300 pips wide because now you're in the British pound. I mean, you can't. The euro is only capable of 100 pip moves, maybe 120 pip moves when this is happening. I'd almost guarantee it. Of course, now looking at the euro versus the pound, now you're talking about insanity because that market goes sideways for very long periods, and then it can crush into zones. It's not that the market's trending so much. It's just filling a void in increments. But when it comes across a giant pocket, it's going to cave in and destroy. And it's amazing. So we just made 100 pips here. Also, where do you place these orders? If you reserve more buying, more dry powder to buy more down here, the deeper it goes, you're going to make more money, but you're going against conventional thinking of like wear a mask and all this bullshit. Here's a nice trap. It went to break out here, and that didn't work out. So selling and now I'm buying the Asian stop hunt. So it's the Asian fake out is what I'm trading, I guess. Anything below here I buy, and then I buy all the way down here into this crush. Now I'm sure this is falling apart. This is 2018. Look at this. Really? This is the Brexit probably. And like I said, you have to know where you're at in the landscape of price because that's all that matters now. Like, look at this. This is like Brexit or something. So we just dropped in one day, we just dropped 700 pips or something. Your 12-hour tickets that you put in, I mean, your 4-hour tickets that you kept dropping and trying to catch this falling knife every 4 hours, now you're going to have to trade like this in 4 hours. You have to adjust the situation. Are you going to try to step in front of this thing? I mean, you would have to know that this has got to be a 5-year low. We just took out. Somebody just made 120 pips off of that one handle down there. Now the big boys, this is one day, mind you. At the end of the day, now that's Asia. At the end of the day, who didn't buy? Now you had to buy on the dailies with a 500 pip stop now. Now you got to go and trade with 500 pip stops. The market's telling you, I'm dropping at 500 pips. So this means nothing to my system. I'm either going to get stopped out of that and go, oh, I just lost like $300. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Oh my God. If I see this, I say stuff like, let's put a buy limit down here. Jesus Christ. In other words, step back. Of course, adjust to the conditions. Let's put in a grid and buy every And I do have those scripts, not in this bank, but I got the ones that buy these are 10 pip windows here. Here's a 15. 8 hours, a 15 pip window, 24 bucks to make 30. So this needs to be turned into this currency. On this, you need to put and I don't have them for this, right? So I'm not writing for this market. Are you kidding me? You would have to have a 300 pip stop on, I'm sorry, you have to place this order deep. I'm thinking about the double clicks, but this order, you could place that deep, but with 37 pip stop, even if you put your order down here, which you think is way the fuck out there, 400 pips deep, you're like, oh, they'll never fill that. They're never dropping 800 pips today. Really? They're never doing that? Like if somebody just made 300 pips on that. Oh, Jesus. So because somebody bought that, and somebody when they bought that from, now it's tradable. Now it's ranging. The trends are also very short. Like, I know this looks like a very dramatic, and you might say, well, Jesus Christ, what do you do when that happens? You're probably getting stopped out of that trade. Let's hope, right? And now, if you did put in the 500 pip stops, if I wrote this with a 100 pip stop, so when I put it down, or even a 300 pip stop, because when I place it here, how do I know they're not going to take that out and keep going? So here's the giant grids here. Here's the biggest window I think I have is 45 pips. Here's a 50 pip range at 10K. 45 pips. That's nothing. That's nothing. That's going to overwhelm the hospital, right? Now the big boys and the people that can trade with 1,000 pips stop, I guarantee you, they started buying below that. And they're like, these are crazy markets. And they're about to cash out into this floor. So volatility does matter. You could have said, my algorithm was built on this kind of volatility. What are you thinking, right? You're thinking, well, it's always going to be like this. No, there's Corona, and this is not even Corona. This is like years ago. This is Brexit bullshit. That moving average system was so, and you were short. And then here, you probably, your system would have just been, well, we're not really able to, we don't even have targets like that. And that's the daily chart, by the way. So yeah, you went short here and you're doing good, and then you're like, God, I'm really gonna sell. This is the hourly chart, but every slice here, you can't hardly see it on here, is a day. This is every day. Wow. I like that system you got. We're short. We went short here on confirmation. In fact, when we closed down here, we knew that the bears were in control, so we loaded up short. Where'd you put your stop? Well, we had to give a nice wide stop. We went short here at the end of the day. Very confirmation. We go, yeah, let's look at, everybody's in. And they just ripped my face off. I can't believe it. Even this, I was a little disappointed. And I wasn't ready to go short here again because I thought, yeah, but didn't we just get clobbered trying to go short? No, we have to tighten that moving average up. Should have gone short here, but no, our system's kind of turned up, and just as our indicators are catching up, and then, but wow. So here, I think the 80% of the market is this bullshit, and now I'm making tons of money. If I stand in front of this dropping, and I've been asked this a million times, what do you do about a move like that? Well, what do you do about a move like that? You know it's coming. You can see it on the chart. So what happens when you get there? Are you going to jump on that? And you could jump on that for one day. Are your targets set to be like 200, 300? I mean, if you had loaded the wagon here, because your system said, well, we're just keep selling, selling. And then one day, it drops that much. Because you've just been scraping by on 300 pips a day, 200 pips a day, and then all of a sudden, 800 pips one day. Sure, if you did that one day in 2018, then you cashed out big time. Now what? You wait for that signal to load the wagon again? You know? I mean, you get in here and like, wow, it doesn't keep going lower. And then you're like, oh shit, we're getting trapped by these new low people. So here's Asia. I just bought that. I bought that. My pendings are sitting here, so I'm up 100 pips. Maybe I just opened my Forex account right here and I'm like, yeah, that system that guy's got is great. Yeah, that range thing, man. I didn't even. Didn't you hear about the depegging? No, didn't hear about that, Swiss franc. I'm just trading along here, and all of a sudden my system doesn't work. You know, I was range trading, and all of a sudden, bam, 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 bam. But this is the 1 hour chart. So if my orders last for 4 hours, and I stripe the market here, I got a limit here, got a limit here, sell limit, sell limit. I'm trying to get filled on something. Got to buy limits down here. Come on, pick me up. Whew, finally. Didn't have to trade at the market, and that's the beauty of this system. Sure, I could wait to the end of the hour and go, you know what? Let's buy one at the market here. I don't like that. I like putting the buy limit in here. They just cash me out. That's it. It's over. 2 or 3 hours to trade. In fact, these big plunges here, if my orders last 4 hours, I'm sure you can see by the system that even if I'm front of the market here, every 4 hours and I start putting limits in, how much am I getting filled? If I stand in front of here and put in, I'm buying a standard lot, a standard lot, a standard lot. In fact, if you're going to martingale like that, sure, you could do it. You're in 10 standard lots by here. It's okay because you're going to make it all back and then some. But if you've only got $1,000 in the account and you buy a standard lot and you buy 3 standard lots and you buy 20 standard lots and 50 standard lots, I don't know what people think martingaling is. 500 standard lots. I mean, really, come on, people. And look, we just retested there. And I just bought again, and I just cashed out. In fact, I sold into that rally on my 1 hour scripts and blah, 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 right? So I don't know if that helps. But anyways, this is a random point in time, playing back the 1 hour chart, strategy tester. So these are my 6 hours, my 6Ks. Did the math on these. 27 pips stop is going to cost you $18 to make 18 bucks because you're going to make 33 pips. 12 hours. So this adds up though. If you wanted to make a 300 pip target, which you would now the pound, you're going to have to make these unless you just want to take those first high probability pips because sure, you could ride this thing out, but why not get in on a pullback? Is there going to be a zig and a zag on these giant moves? I think so. I think there's going to be a point to reboard the train. So if you look at this chart, this is the 1 hour chart. Let's zoom in. Let's zoom into what it would be like if you just couldn't see to the left like that. I mean, it's horrifying. And you could understand why the market's moving, but you would have to understand some degree of what's going on here. So what is all this now? After all that, and if you just came upon the scene and you're like, let's trade this then with that system, you know, you're going to have to, if you just want to canvas this with sell limits, or do you have a focused rack here and you just made X, right? You got your 27 pip stop. You put your sell limit in this pocket. We've all seen this shelf. They scalp to here, you're done. Now you got buy limits here. You got buy limits. You buy 1 standard lot, 2 standard lots, 3 standard lots, 4, 5 more, right? You just sold here, right? You're going to sell more because of this. You're going to sell tons up here. The targets are already built into that. You know, now if you're going to do it at the market on top of this, okay, you're just cashed out. You see how that worked? You just cashed out of these sell limits. That's my point. I'm trying to make money in 2 to 3 hours. I don't want to sit around for the drama. I don't want to wait for the moving average crossovers. I don't. I'm over it. I ain't got time for you to. I ain't got time. Right, my trade's over. I still got sell limits up here. But as far as that trade's concerned, it's a no-brainer. It's just a classic supply and demand situation. It came above here. We sold it. It came back to the breakout point, which was this floor. Was it not? Did it not come back to here? Confirmation guys buy it. We could have bought that. The other route is when the market's here, this is what I'm doing. When the market's here, buy limits. Buy limits. The market's high, come in with buy limits. Catch a falling knife. Not every knife is going to cut your fingers off. Not every virus needs 5 masks and a butt plug. Okay, you just got to let go of that shit, dude. Stop with the fucking mask shit. You gonna charge me $500 to wear a mask? All right, put it on my tab. Put it on my fucking tab. Look at all this money. This bullshit. Up and down. British pound, you know, the torture I used to endure, waiting for my indicators to catch up. Healed it. Look at this buy. This is a gold mine. This is Asia. You're going to buy the Asian low retest. Almost 200 pip move. Buy new lows. 80 pips. Sure, you can draw your trend lines. You can wait for the setup. It pulls back here. Get in here. Oh, like I'm a trend hero. Great. I'm selling into your trend hero-ness. You're virtue signaling your moving average crossover systems. I noticed all the people that don't want to catch one little fucking virus are utopianist people, perfectionists, spoiled fucking brats of the planet that walk around smashing glass. Doesn't matter, bitch, because capitalism's here. The market's here to punish the weak and the feeble. It's so great. It's so great to see people respond like when you go out and dig in the yard and new shit grows. We're designed. Trump was wrong when he said we weren't designed for this. Oh, we sure were. We're going to clean house. I saw this fucknut at the restaurant. I'm just not going to. You know what? I'm not going out. Thank you. I'll stay home and make more money. I'm not going to go to your store. Instead of driving to the store and staring at my phone and traffic, I'm going to stay home. Look at that in golf. Look at that sell up there. Well, I wasn't going to take it because it was making new highs, and I didn't sell up there because Well, I heard the bulls were in charge up here. They're in charge big time. Really? That's crazy. Just got filled in my limit pack down here. Oh, well. Anyways, good luck with that fucking mass shit. God, it just blows my mind, but these are not risk takers, you know, trading Forex and commodities and driving in traffic and dealing with people saying stuff they're like, you really think that's possible? Really? And the scientists and the modelers, and these are the same fucknuts with the Gartley patterns. Same people. They all went to school. Dude, they all went to college. Marxist. But people do think it's true because, yes, they print money. But we do stuff. We make stuff. It doesn't matter. Taxes for revenue are obsolete. You don't need taxes to run the government. You need spirit. You need people to do shit. Look at that beautiful pullback. Oh. So, look at this. It's 200 pips. By the end of the day on that. Because all you did was buy This Asian stop hunt, it came all the way back to Asia. So see how cruel the market is to people? That's why London Breakout's such a fucking joke. Trade the London Breakout. Dude, this is Asia. Got it? It broke out. Would you buy that? Dude, it came all the way back. No, you gotta sell the Asian breakout and let it go full auction. See, one guy goes, auction belongs nowhere in these markets. Really? In a 24-hour market, you don't think that this Asian price has any significance? I'm buying below here, right? My system says, put limits in here. This is ripe for the pickings. Now, when I sell up here, be very, very careful. Why? Because above here could be a giant void. We just scalped off that Asian, or the close of the market. Just scalped it. Now it's engulfing. Now, I got more than one exit, too. I want to fix that first 20 pips. We just made the 50. We're done. Now look out. Above here, we're going to sell, but we got to look left. Look both ways before you cross the street, so to speak. What do we got up here? Don't forget, we've come full circle. What we got up here? We got trouble. Leftover vacuum behind now. I just get so pissed off. I try to be calm, but you know what? What I'm seeing people talk about how to trade these markets, they have no fucking trade plan. They're like these fuckers going, wear a mask. Really, what kind? So I'm going to get up some pantyhose and shit going. I'm going to get something kind of blingy. Something really queer looking. I'm ready to show up, man, with glitter on my fucking mask. I'm telling you. Really? And then what's going to happen is these dumb shits are going to think that they fucking helped. Dude, the death rate's going down. Now wear the mask? Then they'll go, see, it worked. You want a zero death rate. If you've done the math on this shit, who's looking out for the ants in my fucking yard? They built their little ant homes and then somebody steps on them. Good God, people. Fucking grow up. That's why I mean, on Facebook, I can only, go on there. And I just think, you're just trying to piss me off. You're just posting that to piss me off. See, look at this thing belonging to the top. So people are like, well, wait a minute. The fuck? What the fuck's going on? I thought you said that shorting system. I thought you said we're in a bear market. Well, we were in a bear market, but we're not anymore. Joe says that we should start going long now. See, because my indicators, we were short and it was working out real good. And like I told you, we sold a bunch here and then we sold a bunch here. And I said, it's too good to be true, maybe. Joe says we should wait to sell up here in a Gartley. There's a Fibonacci retracement up here, and I saw a guy doing this Fibonacci thing. I couldn't take it. He says, he goes like this. There's a Fibonacci. We came right back to the Fibonacci we got in here at the 618. Great. Now what? Well, our Fibonacci's are changing because the market's changed. We have to move them. Now, is that the 618 or 259 up here? 618. No, listen to ICT. It's not a 618. It's a 72%. It's not a 61%, but 72. A little deeper. Better trade. Better price location. What a putz. He's a mentor? Is that like a person that comes over and hugs you, that hugging shit? Just when I heard about that hugging therapy, this corona came along going, there goes my hugging business. Look at us screaming back. But were there some cells in there? Yeah, if you zoom in. You sold here? Did you make money? Yeah. You're selling in here? You're gonna make money. You sold here? You sell every 100 pips. You're ready to sell higher. You got more money. It's got to come back for you here that you make profits. How long do the tickets last? So if they only last 12 hours, no fill. These you're filling on. Okay, you made your 80 pips. You happy? Right? You sold high, you bought low. But then you got to think about getting out because buyers are coming in. So you could have scalped out here, gone flat, Asia, you're good to go. More buy limits here. Now I have buy limits all the way down because I'm expecting the end of the world. And trust and believe, the British pound can bring it. You got to put buy limits in like this, so you can't take trade plans from the euro and just bring them up. You can't think like that. Especially this. I don't know if this is Brexit. This is 2018, I think. Look at this thing. That's why I go between. If this is too hot, take your scripts. In other words, your car's only designed for so much punishment in the road terrain. So if you got a big wheel truck, you could trade this thing. If you got like a sports car, you're in the euro. You're doing little micro moves. Look at this thing just pulled back. Look, you just made 200 pips on that sell. If you stayed in for this, right? Almost 200 pips on that. And it's just buy, sell, buy, sell. Look, they just filled my buy limits. Look at this. I just made 100 pips. I know my trade. I can just see it. Here too. I bought this plunge, right? So I bought that new low, dump, new low, dump, new high. You could have sold that. How's it a new high? Because it took out this Williams fractal, this lonely wick up here. You could have sold that. Are you still long from this? Waiting for it to take this out. And you got buy limits down here all day, so it's just constant back up and down. That's all. That's all. It's as simple as that. It's just like the news cycle. This is bad, that's good. You know, as soon as the election's over, nobody's gonna die from corona. It will not be in the news. It's just never gonna be. It's an amazing circus, and yeah, if it wasn't for somebody that was a pragmatist and a realist that happened to be a non-politician running the country, we wouldn't have all this fuel to survive it. All the technology that exists. NASDAQ makes record highs. Thanks, no nonsense, how to trade a bear market. You knew he had to set up his ass. He's a moron. Okay? So he's a moron that found a system to rescue himself from being a moron. Right? Do you need a checklist? I know people do this. We do it. We have post-it notes maybe. Be a good person today. Don't be a mean asshole. Don't make fun of other people's trading. You know, I'm mean enough and I'm brave enough, and look at that beautiful scalp. Did you see that? Man, didn't even have to be there for that trade. My favorite trade of all. Buy that new low for the catch a falling knife, rescue it from the abyss. So go out and rescue those odd lots and those missing tickets, people. Stay away from the indicators. Stay away from the signal service. Stick with the limits at first. It's a known risk. If you trade at the market and you only have, if market's dropping 50 pips every hour, you know you cannot buy that with even a 200 pip stop. If it's dropping 400 pips every hour, it's not a market you can even trade. Look at this beautiful engulf. Look at that. Oh, everybody just cashed out into that top. They cashed out into Asia. Sellers up here. But be very careful. Because if they take out this, look out. But we just made money here. Look at that. Beautiful. So your targets need to be 40 pips. I mean, on this kind of trading here, it's all based. So that means people, what's the stop going to be? Well, how much money you got? Here's a 40 pip stop to make 40 bucks. Actually, it's a little bit more than that. I did not build in the spread to this. As you can see, these are just straight 80 pip stop, 40 bucks. It's a 5K. That changes the math. Here's a 10K, 36 pip range. Now you can trade broad base like this and actually make money. Because you're going to buy this whole 100 pip window. Buy a 50K and a 100 pip window. You're making money, man. You're making good money. Come on. You made $1,000 bucks. 200 pip move. How much money are you trying to make? Trading is so easy. Look at buy limits here. Duh. Right? Duh. They don't fill, no risk. Why all this focus on building an algorithm? You don't need it. Maybe you do. You like it. It's just mental masturbation is all it is. You think that that's helping you. Okay. You're missing a lot of good trades. You're missing a lot of good trades because you're so focused on a setup. That's all right. I don't care. Go for it. Do whatever you want.